There we are. Well, welcome to Table Talk, Nomadians. So it is October 5th.
Yeah.
Been an interesting weekend. The only thing we didn't have was snow, but I thought I saw one snowflake. Like one floating in the woods, and I'm like, I don't know, that could have been a dandelion seed, I don't know.
I think you were just out of it.
It was cold. It was 33 last night. I went to bed. It was 33 degrees.
It was cold every morning. And of course, we went out opening morning, and then we were going to go out Sunday morning, and it rained.
Yep. Rained and rained and rained. Which is, you know, we're getting so used to it here at Nomad Outdoors.
It rained almost all day yesterday.
And people. That's probably my biggest frustration over the weekend was, you know, I've been a bow hunter ever since I started hunting. Big game, hunting deer. I started hunting deer with a bow and arrow. I shot my first deer with a bow and arrow.
I started hunting deer with a bow and arrow as well.
Yeah. And you know, we used to hardly ever run into hunters in the woods.
Don't get us wrong. We love that there's more of an interest in hunting.
But really what we're coming down to is that word, crossbow.
Yes.
Since the introduction of crossbow into the bow season, it definitely has brought more bow hunters into hunting. Which
isn't a bad thing. We don't mind people being in the woods hunting. That's a good thing. It's good for people to get out in the indoors and enjoy it. It would just be nice if they didn't do it near us.
We are probably 4 miles back on a dirt road into state land. I'm talking like wilderness. There's no houses, no nothing. 5 miles down this dirt road. Then we switch back and come back on the 2-track. Which is a mile long on the 2-track.
Back on that.
And there's 2-3 other people hunting out there. And it's like, everybody says, oh, go to the most remote regions. You know, like we said earlier, what's the best thing to do? Just pull over on the shoulder of the road
and walk into the woods.
There was a guy we ran into where we used to hunt, which has now been overtaken by hunters.
And logging.
And he said that he basically he's a state land hunter, and he has to move every 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Because people just start
congregating around.
Yeah. They look at I swear they look at the tire tracks and go, oh look, other people have been back here, so it must be okay.
The thing that I don't understand is it's like the road we drive down, it's not like you can tell it's a heavily traveled road because it's a seasonal road.
It's not. It's a seasonal road.
It looks very unused, yet people drive down it all the way to this area. And we've been hunting there for a couple of years now, and we went from seeing nobody down we ran into 3 people opening weekend of archery.
Yep.
But it's opening weekend.
Yeah, it's only opening weekend.
So we both passed on does. Because it's opening weekend. We have 2 tags. If we can shoot 2 bucks, why would you shoot a doe? So maybe come later in archery, we'll shoot a doe because, I mean, we both pulled doe tags.
Yeah, we both got bow tags, or doe tags.
Yeah. We both pulled doe tags. We haven't bought them, but if we get to gun season and we haven't shot anything, we could go buy that doe tag and then hunt a doe still in rifle season. So we're not very hard pressed to shoot a deer right now. And both of us have gotten buddies that have gotten us permissions downstate so that we could hunt closer to home.
That's the big, now there's the gamble. Okay, so you go down there and you shoot a deer, you gotta leave a tag to come up here, but man, if you're down there and you get 2 bucks that come by you, guarantee you're gonna wanna shoot 2 bucks down there. And then I guess what? You just come up here and be...
I'm up here with my doe tag.
Yeah. So there's,
Could you imagine that? You come up here to hunt to only hunt doe.
yeah, crazy.
But it's a possibility. There's still a restricted tag, so I'd still have to see an 8-point, and no matter where you hunt, seeing to shoot an 8-point is by far no guarantee.
Now you got a shift in the deer travel patterns, so you don't know.
We don't know if our spots are still going to be as good as they were.
Yeah. I thought I had the perfect spot. I didn't see a thing. My trail camera didn't pick up a thing.
Maybe it's better later in the season.
Yeah. So who knows? I hunted gray bear's spot the last 2 nights. I saw a doe the first night that I hunted it, and then I saw a doe and a fawn yesterday, and my soft heart got the best of me. She was over there licking and nuzzling her little fawn and checking on her, and I'm like, I'll give you a couple more weeks. Couple more weeks to cut the apron spring on that thing, and then it's time. It's always up for a debate, always up for a discussion. I think maybe I'd post something on the Nomad thing and see if we get something going. Do you shoot a doe? Do you shoot a doe with a fawn early in the season? We saw that spotted fawn. Where did we see that? On the way up on the 30th of September. Crazy. But so let me see. So we hunted opening morning, opening night. Did it rain on us? No, it was a nice opening day. It rained during the day, so we went out.
It rained in the middle of the day. It was supposed to possibly rain. It didn't rain on us in the morning. Rained in the afternoon. Didn't rain on us at night. Rained over the evening too.
Yeah.
I think it might have been raining Friday morning.
And then
we didn't get up to check, but it probably was raining in the morning.
Then we hunted Friday. So there's a bunch of debates that you can have. So, do you shoot a doe with a fawn? Okay. What time do you shoot a deer? Do you hunt in the morning or do you hunt in the evening? What's preferable? And y'all can comment all you want down below. Tell us what your thoughts are. We're not gonna trigger on anything.
Try to be a civil. We want a good community where people are friendly. None of the negative comments.
So do you shoot a doe with a fawn? My thought when I was out there is legal hunting time ends at
7
at dusk. So sunset is 7:15.
Yeah.
Dusk is 7:45.
7:45
So that time frame that you have between 7:15 and 7:45 is like the prime hunting time. The issue that I have is that at a certain point, if you don't hear anything moving in, if you're going to push it to that last minute, you've got diminished light. That's going to hamper your shot.
So my question is so you can hunt technically till legal hunt time no matter what. You could be in the middle of a tree alcove where you can't see your hand in front of your face, but it's still legal hunting time. Do you shoot at that point in time? We don't. We never do. Last night we left early because the clouds obscured our view earlier. So we left earlier. We run more on the side of caution than anything. So what does everybody else do? Do you ride it out? Do you hunt as late as possible? So
that's a question to talk about, you guys. Say something about it. What time do you hunt to? Do you hunt up to the last minute? Some people will be like, yep, got to shoot at the last minute. Well, when you're on state land and you're surrounded by bears and coyotes, you run the risk of...
We ran into a guy that said there's 13, 14 bears in our area or whatever the case may be.
He went off on saying there's a lot of bears out there, but anyway, so give you kind of a synopsis of how our weekend went. It's early in the season, plenty of time, and we'll see what time tells as we move along and move forward. So we like to talk. We like some controversy out there. We'll talk about,
Should KrulDog have shot that doe?
Yeah, with the fawn. Should I shot a doe with a fawn?
Yeah, comment below. Let them know.
Some people say yay.
If he should have, roast him.
Yeah. They say coyotes got to live anyways, but, I don't know. Definitely there's no reason why I shouldn't have. That's my own personal choice.
Yes.
I felt sympathetic to the cause.
But it's ultimately the question boils down to is, does allowing that doe to teach that fawn, even if it is 3 more weeks when we come back, will that 3 weeks time make a difference? Was it the right move? Does that fawn have a higher survivability rate?
Because she'll push that. You get towards the
the breeding season, towards the rut, she'll push the fawn out because she wants to breed. She doesn't want the fawn bred.
Anyways, so do you take low percentage shots? Like you were trying to draw back on that doe, was 25, 30 yards out.
Yeah, if you have a window,
shooting through this.
If you have a window, literally take like a bathroom window. So you've got that little rectangle. If you have that of a window, do you take that shot in archery with a traditional standard bow, not a crossbow, because it shoots like a rifle and you could say, oh, it's going to shoot straight. Because the other thing you got to consider when shooting through a window like that is, at what point does your sight and your arrow meet up? Because you got to remember, your arrow sits lower than your sight to start. And that's the other thing I had to consider, is if I'm aiming and I can see through my sights that there's a window this big, it's down here where my arrow's going to pass through because it hasn't met my window yet.
Yeah, your arrow comes out of the bow and your sight projects out, so your arrow flight is different than where your aim point is.
So it's all things to consider, and that's why I chose not to take the shot, because it's archery and arrows deflect a lot easier than bullets. And there's no doubt about that. If it was a gun, I probably wouldn't have thought twice about it, because the gun would rip through shrubbery anyways. But an arrow will not.
Yeah, I've done my fair share of watching deer and contemplating what is ethical and what is not ethical. And I had about a 30-second window to shoot that doe last night, and I had my bow up and I had my trigger on the string and my release on the string, and I was ready to think about doing it, and saw the fawn and procrastinated another 15 seconds, and then she was getting weary. She was picking up on the vibe. She started looking around. She looked up in the tree. She looked at me. She
remember,
looked down.
in the heat of the moment, these time frames he's talking about, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, like when you're sitting there, it feels like a minute.
Yeah.
So it probably was, like he said, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever the case may be, but it feels like a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Like when you're sitting there watching something, it feels like time almost stops. So that contemplation is real contemplation. Yeah, you're like, oh, it's 30 seconds. You couldn't make a decision that fast. Well, when it feels slow and you got the adrenaline running, you can make a decision in that time frame.
Yeah. So kind of all the things that you think about when you're sitting up in a tree stand and have nothing but time on your hands. It's still early in the season. All the people out there just give me anxiety going into the woods. I don't like running into people when I go into the woods. It's not a social event. Hunting is a solitary affair. We hang out together as nomads and we have our camp, but when we get out in the field, we
all walk different directions.
We've all got different spaces. We had a tree stand that got stolen. The other spot that there was a tree stand was being clear cut. That's the spot that has the deer camp that has like 6 trailers for archery season.
Plus the guy next to them. As most people do. It's like we talked to the guy out there, and he parks and walks, and then another car was parked almost under a stand. And it's like, that's another contemplation you have, is how close to your stand do you park? Like, so say you're only hunting 100 feet into the woods. Like, we've avoided doing that now because we're sick of seeing cars, and everybody says, oh, go further back in the woods, go further back in the woods. Well, say you're walking further back in the woods and then somebody else drives to that point.
We played that game before, Gray Bear and I. Oh, go back as far as you can. There was one time we went back.
You went
3
back
miles.
and you rode the quad all the way back 3 miles. So further than
we
you
drove.
can
Well,
even
we drove the truck
till you
on the
could.
2-track
Yeah.
till it dead ended. Then we got on the quad for another 2
drove
miles.
that till it dead ended, and then walked, and then somebody passed you in a canoe.
No, we didn't see him. We saw his tree stand and we saw a gut pile. And then when we did some searching around, we see he was beaching his boat right there coming upriver. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, so even 8 miles back in the woods, you still got somebody else coming back there.
It don't matter none. That's the biggest thing that I have. You know, if you think about the scouting that we did, we scouted where we were hunting, and that's where those two people, that guy and that girl, put their stands up. I should say guy and lady, because I think they're a little bit older, like closer to my age.
A couple, whatever.
And then we looked at another spot, and we're like, oh, we should put a tree stand here. That's where the old guy's hunting.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man. And then of course people blazing their trails with the orange ribbons.
I'm trying to make my trails unidentifiable as possible.
Yeah.
Apart from like it's a trail in the woods, and then we went out. We were driving by, and there was a trail marked. You could see 4 orange flags just from the trail looking back.
And you don't even need them. It's where you park the car.
You could use
it's woods on this side.
Just one.
It's woods on this side, woods on this side, and it's a clear path. So you just walk the clear path.
You could have used one flag, and they had 4.
We're obviously missing the gray bear. He's got
family issues.
Family issues. He's down in Florida. We miss him so much.
He misses us so much.
Yeah. Don't take it the wrong way. We appreciate talking to you, gray bear, but when you're calling us 4 or 5, 6 times a day.
Every day, like...
What are you doing?
Every day that it's remotely close to hunt time, start of hunt time, or end of hunt time, he was calling.
Which is, I mean, fun.
Which is fine.
We're just picking on because that's what we do.
It's no big deal. It's like, we include it when we did our text group because we do
the guy that spends most of his time up north sleeping in a bed. He's like, oh, are you up in a tree?
Yeah,
constantly. Would you be up in a tree?
Wanted us hunting. We were supposed to go out yesterday morning, and then it was literally rained from
pouring rain.
Probably 9 p.m. until 9 a.m. like 12 hours straight, pouring rain. So we woke up, looked, didn't go. We woke up and looked, so we planned on hunting. And he goes, oh, did you go out hunting? We're like, no, it was raining. He's like, oh, what's a little rain do to you?
Yeah.
And he's the first person to be like, it's raining, I'm not going out.
He's excited. He wants to be up here. We understand it.
We would be the same way had we not been here.
Yeah.
We even included him in our text group while we were in the woods.
Yep, he got
we chose to text instead of use the radio, so he stayed clued in.
I don't know, that radio a few times gave me a heart attack. It almost killed me. It's like super quiet, and you just click the radio and it makes it vibrate, but it's like, zzz, and I'm like, ah! All right, thanks.
Well, one time I climbed up in the stand and you're talking to me like, oh, all right, I'm all set. I'm like, yeah, I'm set. And then you're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, there's a deer right there. I gotta go.
Yeah.
It's literally right to my left, walking right at me. That's the one I drew on. And it was like we were on the radio and it was right there.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. You know, you could watch our hunt show and you can appreciate it for what it is. It really is. It's not the Nomad Outdoors
I tell you what,
show. Can I finish? It's the Nomad Outdoors journal. Video journal. This is no different than a vlog. If you're here to see like super, you know, this, that, or the other thing, no, we're just...
It's like, I love seeing other people in the woods. I just wish they weren't in the woods by me.
Thanks for watching our show. Anyways, like I was saying, don't dog us. We are what we are. We're just a video journal, a vlog.
You either like it or you don't.
I hope you like it.